Have you ever felt like you didn't belong? Not in your family, your social circle, or even this world, like you see things others don't, feel things others ignore, and carry a weight you can't explain. Maybe you're kind, gifted, even spiritually aware, but you're still alone, misunderstood, or stuck in financial struggle. If this resonates, you're not broken. You might just be one of the chosen ones. And there's a reason your path feels so different, even painful. Being a chosen one doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you're called to see deeper, feel stronger, and grow faster, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. But here's the paradox. The more light you carry, the darker the shadows around you seem. Why? Because light doesn't just illuminate beauty. It also reveals the things people prefer to keep hidden. You may have noticed when you walk into a room, conversations change. People either gravitate toward you or suddenly withdraw. You haven't done anything wrong. Your presence alone can trigger others, not out of malice, but because your energy makes them confront what they've buried. And here's the tough part. Most people aren't ready to look in that mirror. Chosen ones often walk alone, not by choice, but by vibration. You might find it hard to maintain friendships. You crave authenticity, but others often operate on convenience. You seek truth, but others are trapped in illusion. And in romantic relationships, you're willing to go deep, but depth scares people who only know how to float. This loneliness isn't punishment, it's preparation. There's a beautiful but painful truth. Before you're truly seen, you must first learn to see yourself. Solitude forces you to strip away what's false and remember who you really are. I've spoken to dozens of spiritual seekers, healers, artists, empaths, and they all share the same pattern. Long stretches of isolation, not because they wanted it, but because their soul needed it. Let me tell you about Maya, a spiritual coach I met in Bali. She was successful on paper, a former architect with a stable career and a bustling social life in London. But she always felt off, like she was playing a role in someone else's movie. One night, after a silent meditation retreat, she broke down in tears. "I don't know why I feel so alone," she told me, "when all I ever do is give love and light to others." That moment cracked something open in her. She left everything behind, career, home, even her relationship. She started again from zero, choosing to live with monks, study energy healing, and build a new life. Now she runs a heart-centered coaching practice, thriving, but with a much smaller circle. She told me, "I lost almost everyone, but I finally found myself, and the ones who stayed, their family and spirit." Financial struggle is another common thread among chosen ones, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or ambition, but because they often reject the traditional systems of wealth. The 9-to-5 grind, corporate ladders, profit at all costs mentality, it doesn't resonate with their soul. They want to create impact, heal, teach, inspire, but the world doesn't always reward that immediately. And so they get caught in this internal tug-of-war between purpose and practicality. But let me be clear, being broke isn't a reflection of your worth. It's often a sign that you're walking a non-traditional path. That path will eventually lead to abundance, but only once it aligns with who you truly are, not who society expects you to be. In the next part of this video, we'll explore why chosen ones attract people who drain them, how energy imbalance affects your relationships, and the difference between soul-aligned connection, ego-based attachment. Will also break down how financial blocks are inherited and healed, and how solitude isn't just survival, it's spiritual boot camp. So stay with me, because what you're going through has a purpose. And once you understand that purpose, the struggle transforms into strength. You're not meant to fit in, you're meant to awaken. Your loneliness is not a flaw. It's a sign that you're being refined for something greater. Don't run from the silence. That's where your soul speaks the loudest. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like your soul was drained? Like you gave everything and got nothing back? Do you often feel used, unseen, or emotionally exhausted after spending time with certain people? If so, it's not just in your head, it's energetic. And if you're a chosen one, you might be unconsciously feeding people who were never meant to stay in your orbit. Let's talk about the hidden cost of being a light in a world that doesn't know How to receive it. One of the strangest contradictions that chosen ones experience is this: you attract people easily. They say you make them feel safe, seen, inspired. They admire your insight, your empathy, your strength. But over time, many of those people fade, or worse, start to drain you. Why? Because most people are drawn to your light, but not all of them can sustain themselves in your frequency. They're hungry for what you offer: validation, warmth, spiritual clarity. But they don't know how to give it back, and so, unknowingly, you become a battery. Let's clear this up. Not everyone who drains you is a narcissist or a bad person. Some are simply unaware. They're moving through life wounded, unconscious, and disconnected from their own source of energy. They're not evil. They're empty. And when they meet someone like you, someone who listens deeply, holds space without judgment, and radiates spiritual warmth, it's like finding water in a desert. But if you're always giving, and they're never giving back, you end up spiritually dehydrated. And here's the key truth: you can't pour from an empty cup. Let me introduce you to Julian, a former trauma therapist turned breathwork guide. He once told me he was everyone's emotional dump site. Friends would call at all hours. Family members leaned on him, but never asked how he was doing. Even strangers in coffee shops poured their life stories into him. I became a walking confession booth. He laughed. People felt better just talking to me, but I was dying inside. Eventually, Julian burned out. He developed chronic fatigue and lost the desire to help anyone. Only after months of solitude, plant medicine, and reworking his boundaries did he realized the truth. He was leaking energy, not because he was weak, but because he never learned to say no. So how do you stop this cycle? It's not about becoming cold or shutting people out. It's about energetic discernment, asking, does this person energize or exhaust me? Do I feel safe to be my full self with them? Are we growing together, or am I carrying them? Here are a few practical tools that work. Energetic check-ins. After every interaction, pause. Ask yourself, do I feel lighter or heavier? Grounding rituals. Before and after social events. Connect with your breath or touch the earth. Visualize your energy returning to your center. Create spiritual hours of operation. You're not available 24/7. Your energy is precious. Treat it as sacred. And here's the biggest shift. It's okay to disappoint people who were only using you. Eventually, most chosen ones learn this the hard way. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. That's why many of us choose solitude. Not because we hate people, but because we finally realized that peace is more important than approval. Solitude isn't isolation. It's spiritual hygiene. It's in those quiet moments alone that you recharge your soul. Hear your inner voice again, and most importantly, stop leaking energy into people who don't even see you. You're not here to heal everyone. You're here to heal who is ready, including yourself. Your energy is medicine. Stop handing it out like candy. Protect it, refine it, and share it with those who deserve the light. You've got the drive, the skills, the ideas, yet the bank account doesn't reflect your potential. You try to live with integrity, serve with love, follow your higher path, and still, you're living paycheck to paycheck, or worse, in constant survival mode. Why is financial stability so elusive for chosen ones? Here's the truth no one tells you. It's not a punishment, it's preparation. For the average person, financial success is linear. Go to school, get a job, climb a ladder, save, retire. But for a chosen one, that script often feels suffocating. The thought of clocking in 40 hours a week for something meaningless is soul death. You crave purpose, impact, freedom, and because of that, you might quit jobs that don't align with your values, walk away from high-paying roles to start over, prioritize helping others over making money, and society calls that foolish. But spiritually, it's sacred. Your spirit is being trained to build a life from the inside out, not from a paycheck in. Here's the core of the issue. Money is energy, and how it flows to you depends on your vibration. If you're operating from a frequency of authenticity, healing, truth, and light, but trying to earn from systems based on fear, competition, and ego, there's a mismatch. That's why you may feel deeply uneasy about cold selling or manipulation, climbing over others to get ahead, monetizing spiritual gifts in a hustle mentality. It's not that you don't want abundance. It's that your soul refuses to sell out to get it. And that's not failure. That's spiritual alignment. But until you find a way to earn in a way that resonates with your truth, the money may stay blocked. Let's talk about Elijah, a former financial advisor I met in Costa Rica. He had it all: 6 figures, beachfront condo, luxury lifestyle. But something felt off. He told me every time I closed a deal, I felt emptier. Like I was winning the game, but losing my soul. So he left it all behind, moved into a jungle hut, started learning herbal medicine and spiritual coaching. The first year, he was broke, ate rice and lentils daily. He doubted himself constantly. But eventually, things shifted. People started finding him, not because of marketing, but because of word of mouth and resonance. He didn't chase clients. He attracted them. Today, he earns less than before, but lives more richly than ever. And his finances are finally flowing, not because he followed the system, but because he built his own. For many chosen ones, financial struggle isn't just personal, it's ancestral. Maybe you grew up hearing things like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, you have to work yourself to the bone to survive. These aren't just phrases, they become programs in your subconscious. If your family lived in survival mode, you may have inherited their scarcity energetically. But here's the good news: you were born to break those patterns. You're not just healing your finances, you're healing generations before you. You're rewriting the story. It's deep spiritual work, and it takes time. But it's why your path is harder now, because you're carrying more than just your own weight. So what does abundance look like for someone like you? It's not about Lamborghinis or mansions, unless those genuinely resonate with your soul. It's about freedom, peace, the ability to create from the heart, serve authentically, give without fear, and live without chronic anxiety. It starts when you ask, what value can I bring from my essence, not my ego? How can I align my income with my integrity? What does wealth feel like to my soul? When you do this, you begin to attract income that aligns with your mission, not the marketplace. And that is when everything changes. You're not broke because you're lazy. You're not struggling because you lack talent. You're being spiritually restructured so your income can align with your purpose. Trust the process, heal the roots, create value, and let wealth flow in a way that feels holy. You've been misunderstood, misused, and maybe even mislabeled. People left you, money eluded you, life humbled you. But here's the secret they don't tell you. All of this, every heartbreak, every setback, every lonely night, wasn't meant to break you. It was designed to build you for something much greater. This final part is about the transformation, the becoming, the why behind it all. When chosen ones finally ask, why is this happening to me? The answer is never simple, but it's always sacred. Your pain has purpose. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every financial struggle taught you resourcefulness. Every moment of isolation sharpened your spiritual ear. You weren't being punished, you were being refined. And now, you're ready to become the version of yourself who can fulfill your calling, not from ego, but from deep inner alignment. Think about it like this: would a soul destined to hold space for others, lead revolutions, or heal generations, be trained with comfort and ease? No. You've been through what you've been through so that you can relate, not preach. Spiritual boot camp is not glamorous. It's long nights of doubt, sleepless questioning, the fear of being forgotten by the world. But here's the paradox: the more invisible you feel to the world, the more visible you become to the divine. When you have nothing and still choose to believe, give, and serve, you access power that can't be bought or borrowed. That's the essence of the chosen path. Samira, a spiritual singer from Morocco, once told me she almost ended her life after being homeless in Spain. She'd given up everything to pursue a mission she couldn't even name. She slept on train station benches, sang on the streets. People laughed, called her crazy. But something, a voice, a vision, a vibration, kept telling her, just one more day. Years later, her music reached the ears of a famous filmmaker. One of her street recordings was used in a global documentary on spiritual resilience. Now, her songs are streamed by thousands, but more importantly, they heal people. She said, "My struggle didn't make me strong. It made me soft, and that softness became my power." When you've healed enough, your question changes. You stop asking, "How do I survive?" and start asking, "How can I serve?" Because now, your scars have turned into tools. Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. That's when alignment begins. You stop chasing relationships and start attracting soul family. You stop obsessing over money and start receiving through purpose. You stop needing validation and start radiating self-certainty. This is the shift from pain to power, from alone to aligned. Let's be clear, you may never have a billion-dollar business, a private jet, or a Hollywood mansion. Then again, maybe you will. But your wealth will look like this: waking up in peace, doing work that lights your soul, on fire, being surrounded by people who get you, not just tolerate you, living with a deep sense that you are on path. That is abundance. And once you operate from that frequency, material abundance starts to follow, not as a reward, but as a reflection. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to ignite. Your loneliness was a sanctuary for becoming. Your struggle was a classroom for power. You are not cursed, you are being called. And the longer you resist your uniqueness, the longer you delay your emergence. So here's your permission slip. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing. Stop dimming. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs your light, your truth, your voice. If you're watching this, you're not alone. You're part of the global tribe of awakened souls, quietly rising in every corner of the planet. We are healers, visionaries, artists, empaths, disruptors, and dreamers. And together, we're building a new world, one that honors spirit over status, truth over titles, and connection over control. Your journey matters. Your struggle wasn't wasted. Your time is now.